Welcome back. Today I'm going to be showing you data stores. So I already made an experience or game called test game. You can create an experience by going to the create tab on Roblox and clicking create new experience. So yeah, so I already made a test game so that when we test the data store, we can just click the play button. So I already have a studio opened. So yeah, so now we're going to publish this and it was working pretty cool. We're gonna just close that out and everything like that. We're gonna clear the output, and you're gonna be seeing on this screen. Okay, it doesn't matter if the toolbox is open or not. Just open it because anyway, first we're gonna add a server script service script. We're gonna add a script inside a server script service, and we're just gonna name it whatever. It doesn't matter what you name it. I'm just gonna name it Leaderstats/data. So we're gonna get two services, which is gonna be the player service by doing local player equals game.players game dot I mean game get service players, and that's the player service. Okay, this is the player service. It's gonna get the players. It's not gonna get players, but it's just the service for the player. Okay, and we're gonna get another service called the data. So data store service equals game get service data store service. And so first we have the service of the data store service, and we have the service of the player service, but for data store service, we're gonna have to actually make the data store because we have the service, but we need to make the data store. So we're gonna do local data store equals data store colon get data store. We're gonna have to name the data store. Okay, so we're gonna name it money data. So now we can do player.player added because it's when the player is added, it's gonna do whatever is in this block of code. So we're gonna have the parameter of the player. This is the player who's been added, right? So we can just type print player.name, concatenate this, has been added to the game. So whenever I join the game, right here, it will type my name, which is Spot Arts. Spot Arts has been added to the game. So we are pretty good on track. Lowercase h. But yeah, so that is a proof or test to see that it is working. So we're just gonna leave that there. Okay. So now we're gonna do when we're added to the game, we're going to make Leaderstats. Okay, so we're going to do local folder equals instance dot new folder, and I will like to use these double quotes instead of single quotes. I'm going to put a comma. I'm going to put this inside the player. Instead of doing folder.parent, folder.parent equals player, we can just do comma player inside this new statement. So we can do folder name equals Leaderstats, and this has to be exactly as Leaderstats. Roblox just has it like that. So yeah, we could do local money equals instance dot new int value, and so int values are only integers, so you cannot have decimals and int values. Okay, so we can put commas, comma folder. So we're gonna do money dot name equals money. I'm gonna do money dot value equals 0. So let me explain this. So we have the player service, we have the data store service, we have our data store. So this is going to be the data store for every player in the game. When the player is added, it's going to print the player who's been added. It's going to create a folder called Leaderstats, and inside that folder there's going to be a value, and that value is going to be the cache. Okay, so we have the cache value. So now we're going to do local data. We're going to leave it like that. We're going to do local player ID equals that. It doesn't. We don't have any equals. We're just having the memory in here. Okay, so we're going to do local player ID for data, and we're going to do player ID equals player.user ID. We're going to do player ID for data equals, and we have the custom key. So this is going to be our key, right? So it has to have the player ID. So what we're going to do is concatenate like we did here, okay, with a dot dot. That's called concatenation. So really you just connect something with like a string, number, or whatever. So we can do player and then underscore dot player ID. So let's say the player ID was one, or this number right here. Okay, so let's do 102.102.39, right? This will just say the data would be player underscore 10329. That's what it basically would do for the player ID. So this is what the output would be. All right. So now we're going to do a pcall function, right? So in this pcall function, we're going to do local success no equals pcall function. So pcall is basically just to debug, or if any, so that it just makes sure it runs perfectly. Okay, it's just like basically a check function to make it run, and so that no errors pop up. So in here, we're gonna type for our data source. We're gonna get our data source. We're gonna store the data. When the player joins, they're gonna get the data and all that stuff. So now we have the data variable, right? So now we're gonna make data equal to, right? So we have data, and the data is going to equal to our, the data of saying Datastore. You only get a sync, which returns the value of a key in a specified data store. So basically, it's just going to return a value. Okay, so I'm going to get a sync, and we're going to have to get what we want, right? So you have to get the player ID for data. That's our key, right? That's our key. That's our custom key that we made. All right. So now we're going to say if success, then, so if it is a success and it works perfectly, there's no errors and it's good, we're going to do money dot value equals data. So this is basically getting our key value, and so we're going to put the money's value into the data, so the data will store it, right? So this is storing our data when we play the game, right? And we're going to do if not success, then, so if it's not working perfectly, if it's not working correctly, we're just going to warn the no. Okay, no, this is going to be success, this is no, meaning it's not working. A lot of people use error message, but I like doing no. Okay, because it's kind of more English-ish. So now when the player plays a game, we have their data and it's being stored. But what if they leave the game and they rejoin, and we have their data, but we just don't have it saved quite yet when they leave the game? So here we're gonna have to do a player removing connect function player. So it says that when the player is removed, this is gonna fire. Okay. So we're gonna do local success no equals pcall function. So this is another pcall, and this is just gonna save our data. So now we can do data store. This is all we need to do. So this is the easy part, okay? Data store set async, and we're gonna have to get our key, of course. So we're gonna do player ID. We have to get the player ID for data. So really, we can just either just copy this right here, but we don't have the player ID stated, right? So we can restate these. We can restate all of this here except for the data part, but we can restate this. So I'm gonna restate it just for the tutorial purposes, right? Even though usually I do not restate it, but this is just for tutorial purposes. Like this, so player ID equals player ID user ID, and player ID is this. So if it's equal to the player for data, right? So if it's equal to that, this is the key, and this is the value that we want to save, right? The value that the data store key will be set to. So this will be set to the money dot value. So we can just do player.leaderstats dot money dot value, or we could have just restated the leader stats right here. So we could have just restated, the folder, but we don't need to do that. We can just do player.leaderstats dot money dot value. And we don't really need to restate this, but I did because why not? So we're gonna save this. The data store is done. The leader stats is done. We just need to add the data, okay? Because we have to have some data in it. So I'm gonna just make the button now. So we're gonna have this as our button, and let's just have this as like a green part or red part, doesn't matter. All right. So once we clicked, we're gonna add a click detector. Checks when we clicked it. And we're gonna add a script, and it's gonna be add money. So when we do this, we're gonna do local click detector equals script.parent.click detector, and we're gonna do click detector dot mouse click connect function player who clicked. And yeah, so we have that, and so we're gonna say print player who clicked dot name. So we're printing the player who clicked this part, and we're getting the name of who clicked it. So when we click this part right here, spotters clicked it, which is correct. Okay, so now we can do this. Local. We don't have to name it player who clicks, just name it player because it's easier. I just wanted to just show you that. And it also shows it here. So player who clicked, which is the player. Yeah, as you see, so we can do local leader stats equals player dot leader stats. I'm gonna do local money. I'm gonna say money equals leader stats dot money, and we're going to do money dot value plus equals 1. So senior leader stats, and it's got the money, and we're just increasing the value by 1 because it is an int value, so we'll do that. So we're getting our money perfectly fine, and yeah, precious money. So that is pretty cool. So now we're gonna publish this. We're gonna go to the game, and then so as I join, right? So I will join the game, and yeah, so we are going to join. And also, if you want to test this in Roblox Studio, if the data works, then you can go here and go make sure that this is enabled right here so that you can save data. Just go to security in the game settings at the home tab and click on enable API services. Enable studio access to game services such as data stores. So you want that. So you can use it in Roblox Studio. And yeah, so if we join the actual game though, click the money. We get the money. We all want the money, right? We want all that money. Okay, we want all everything. I'm gonna leave the game. I don't really want to join it anymore. And then this game. I remember this game. I was good at it. I want to try this again. Let's see if my data saves. And moment of truth. Come on, man. Let me load then, please. Please let me load. Come on, man. Why I gotta be stuck on a loading screen like this, bro? I didn't ask for this. I'm gonna try this again. Alright, let me try this again. And this should work, please. Okay. So now we have our data saved. We have 29 cash. And I want to play some more. Meow. Give me more. Give me more money. Money, money, money. Man, I'm tired of playing this game. This game is so bad. Rejoins the game. And the data is completely saved. It has stored my data, and it will store many other people's data when they join the game. As you see, 75. And it will keep increasing when I click the button, and it'll keep saving. And this is only the data. It's not simple. We don't know about it, but once you get the hang of it, you will know how to do it. But it is pretty cool that you do know. And the p-call is not only used for this, because I think I can do a p-call for this, and this p-call is not only used for data restore, but it's just used to make sure that errors are invalid. But yeah, so I'm gonna delete these because I'm about to learn how to make VFX in Roblox Studio because I'm making a super power game. I want to make a magic game just for testing purposes. So yeah, quick plug. Make sure to play my game that I recently made. It's called Infinite Hallways. and vecna in the back rooms. Okay, and if you want, you can just add the little escape to Slender Obby. I made that a while ago for this game, but I made this recently and Infinite Hallways recently. So pretty cool. There might be some bugs because it wasn't really a kind of project that I wanted to go mainly on. But thank you for watching this video. If you did, make sure to like, sub. You know what to do. Every YouTuber says it. You know that. We all know that. But thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. And yeah, please can I end the video? Okay, thank you. Goodbye, guys.